Hey friends, I hope you had a good time with meditation last week. This last little sub-series we've been talking about midnight worries, and we talked first in episode 4 about dropping anchor in the moment to say, hey, I'm not going to time travel into this event I'm worried about. I'm going to come back to this moment with God. And then we talked about breath prayer the week after that, where we said you can say, Jesus, I'm here with you. Jesus, you are here and I'm here with you. Jesus, you are here and I'm here with you. And that just keeps us in that moment with a positive thought. And then last week we talked about meditation, where we can take that deeper and say, you know what, I want to change my identity to becoming a calm person, not just thinking calm thoughts, but actually becoming a calm person. And we said the best way to do that is to meditate, which is actually to get God's story that starts to change our story. So, and the story that we live in is obviously the story that we live out. Well, today I want to talk about memorization. So how do you meditate in the middle of the night if you haven't got something that you can draw on? And the answer is memorizing. You memorize things so you can draw on them. And I know when I say memorizing, you're thinking back of high school exams in languages or maths formulas or physics or whatever, and that can be quite stressful. But this doesn't need to be like that. It actually can be very simple. Let me tell you a story. I was talking about memorization one day, giving a talk, and a guy came up afterwards and said, listen, I have previously suffered from terrible panic attacks, but I made a decision a few months ago to simply memorize Psalm 23. It's a really popular psalm. You've probably heard it at funerals. It goes, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Takes me to lush pastures, he leads me beside refreshing waters, he restores my strength. And it goes on and on with a whole bunch of very, very calm type thoughts. And he had memorized this whole psalm and locked it in. And he said, every time I feel a panic attack coming on or a sense of worry or dread start to rise up inside of me, I simply just step over and over the words of that psalm and begin to meditate, to mull them over, to think about them, to fill my mind with them. And he said, I've actually been completely free from panic attacks since the day I started doing that. And I just want to say that to encourage you that memorization can be a tremendously powerful force for changing a story, and it can be tremendously helpful in the midnight hours when you have a resource to draw on. So this doesn't have to be a super duper hard thing for you, okay? It can be just starting really, really simply, maybe just taking the very first line of that psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Like, that's 8 words. You can pull off 8 words. So why don't you just memorize that? The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. And then just take that into the midnight hours when you awake, and then you've gone through a series of breath prayer, and then you think, I need to start sort of going a bit deeper here. You can take that idea, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. You can use it as a breath prayer for starters. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. But if you want to go deeper, you can start to meditate like we talked about last week, which is just to look at that from all different angles. Now, if the Lord really was your shepherd, how would life be different for you? What, imagine the story of calm, the story of safety, the story of boldness, the stories of confidence. If the Lord was your shepherd, if he really was in charge of supplying all of the needs that you have right now, of dealing with all the situations that you're dealing with right now, and resourcing you to flourish in all of those particular incidences, imagine how different your life would be. Well, that's what meditation is in the midnight hours, okay? We can meditate on positive thoughts like that, and we can actually see God reshape our identity till we start living in a story that the Lord is my shepherd and I lack nothing, and I can start living out of that story in all the challenges I face in everyday life. Okay, so our assignment this week is to just look over this last week on Instagram or on the blog on rhythms.org.au. We've posted a whole bunch of little scripture quotes that are around calm and peace, all right? Why don't you just pick one of those, or pick the 23rd Psalm if you want, the first line, and just memorize like one line of them, any of those things that speak to you. And then practice remembering that whenever you have any kind of anxious thought. Practice remembering that and playing it over and sitting with it and looking at it and personalizing it and visualizing it and making it part of your life. And this stuff really will just change the internal story you live in and the story that you live out. Awesome, can't wait. Have a great week.